Next up, let's talk about Freakonomics. This is a podcast that's been around for a long time. In fact, this is my very first podcast I ever listened to, and I really enjoy this podcast. At least I definitely did back in the day, and I still enjoy it today. So I watched a documentary on Freakonomics. I think it was on Netflix or something, and it basically is these two guys who just kind of see things differently, and they see it from an economics point of view. And they start talking about things like why they think that sumo wrestlers cheat and stuff like that. And they look at these statistical evidence to just figure out these really weird things. And I just found the documentary fascinating. And all I want was more. And then I saw they had books, and I was like, I don't actually want to read anything. But then I saw they had a podcast. And I love their podcast. I just started from episode 1, and I just kept going on and on and on and on. And I was just loving this thing. And finally I got to the end, and I had to actually find new podcasts, which is why I have all these other ones now. But this was the only podcast I listened to for a while. Here's a couple of great episodes I'll mention. One was The Dangers of Safety. That's their very first one, by the way. I honestly don't remember that well, but if I remember right, it was a great episode. But I just love that title, The Dangers of Safety. Really, they just take things and they really spin them, and they give you a new perspective. If nothing else, you may not agree with their conclusions, but it definitely will let you see things from a different point of view. Another one of my favorites is America Ready for a No-Lose Lottery? That was a really cool episode. Basically, it was an episode about the idea of, instead of on your savings account where you get 0.001 interest or whatever, instead what happens with this idea that these people have is they take all the interest from all these different savings accounts and they just make prizes and stuff. So it's kind of like a lottery. And the whole idea is to get people to save more money. And it's not something they're doing, but it's an idea that they're trying to present. And but the problem is it's illegal, because the lottery industry, which is a government-run thing, kind of owns the lottery, and they won't let different institutions have any type of lottery. But it was a really interesting concept, and the whole idea was to make it exciting to save money, which is something people don't do. Another one that I liked was Smarter Kids at $10 a pop. And there's so many great episodes, but I will say their old ones were my favorites. So I would pick one of the first 50. Maybe you start from episode 1 and work your way up. They do get higher quality as they go. They're more recent episodes, although I do like them. I do go back and listen to them at times. They're more interviews with interesting peoples. They did interviews with CEOs and stuff like that. Instead of it being their interesting perspective on the world, it's these other people that I don't know and don't really. They're still good, but it's the old stuff. Definitely the old stuff is my favorite. So definitely check that out. Also, I will say that Freakonomics is a pretty safe podcast, although they do sometimes talk about topics like the black market and things like that they find just interesting, and they want to kind of look at the economic side of it. It's a nerdy podcast, but I really do like it. And just listen to one. I think you'll find it intellectually stimulating. So anyway, as exciting as that sounds,